Hello everyone, welcome back to Sulekha Physics classes. Hope you all are doing good. Today I am going to start one short revision of chapter 4, that is motion in a plane. In the previous chapter we had discussed about motion in a straight line. A straight line means either the particle moves along x direction, y direction or z direction, or either in negative x, negative y or negative z. So if the motion of the particle in one dimension only, that is motion in a straight line, also called rectilinear motion. But if the motion of the particle is in two dimension, that is called motion in a plane. For example, suppose the particle is at this point P, right? And now the particle changes their position from this P to P dash. It means it changes their values in both x and y direction. It covers distance both in x and y direction. So if the motion of the particle in two dimension, both x and y axis or yz, along yz or along zx, in any two dimension, if the motion of the particle in two dimension, that is called motion in a plane. So here the motion of the particle is, this one is in two dimension, motion in a plane. So in this chapter, motion in a plane, first most important topic is about vectors, because here direction is required. So we will discuss different types of physical quantities like scalar and vector quantity, what are their types, what are different properties of vectors, right? How you add two vectors, how you subtract two vectors, multiplication, division of vectors. After that, the best example of this motion in a plane is projectile motion. That is very important topic. In 5 marks question, it generally comes in 5 marks question, right? So we will cover all these topics one by one. Let us start. Quick revision of this chapter, motion in a plane, okay? Now, before discussing vectors in detail, you know physical quantity, all those quantities which can be measured either directly or indirectly, right now? But, and also there are different types of physical quantity. All those physical quantities can be categorized into two groups. One is scalar quantity and another one is vector quantity. These divisions are on the basis of addition. How you add two physical quantities. Sometimes you add directly or sometimes you are not able to add directly. So on the basis of addition of physical quantity, they can be categorized in two groups. One is scalar quantity and another one is vector quantity, right? Now what is scalar quantity? Those physical quantities which have only magnitude but no direction. Right? For example, work, distance, speed, mass, all these are scalar quantities. In all these things, we only just talk about its magnitude, no direction, right? Now, vector quantity, those physical quantities which have both magnitude as well as direction. Like you know force. Force is a vector quantity. It has magnitude as well as direction. In which direction you are applying force, it also matters, right? So force is a vector quantity. Displacement, velocity, all these things are vector quantity. For example, like suppose you are moving 2 meter. So 2 meter is what? It is a scalar quantity. It is distance. You can move 2 meter towards east, west, north, or any direction. But if it is written that 2 meter towards east, it means you are moving 2 meter towards east direction. There is some particular fixed direction that is called displacement, and it is a vector quantity. Now, one more important difference between scalar and vector quantity on the basis of which these two physical quantities are categorized, that is called how you add two vectors or two scalars. To add any two scalar quantity, you just simply 2 meter plus 4 meter. This is 6 meter. This is a scalar quantity. Just simply added the two scalar quantity like this one. But if it is 2 meter towards east in this direction and 4 meter towards north in this direction. Now, how you add these two vectors, right? 2 meter is towards east and 4 meter towards west. You do not add directly. Now to add any two vectors, you have to apply vector law of addition. So this vector follows vector law of addition. We will discuss vector law of addition after this topic. There are two laws of vector addition, triangle law and parallelogram law of vector addition. But to add any two vectors, it do not follow vector law of addition. It can be added directly, and this is the main difference between scalar and vector. Vector follows vector law of addition, it do not follow vector law of addition. Now vector has both magnitude as well as direction. So how it can be represented? Suppose F is a vector quantity, force. So you write F and put one arrow over it. This represents that force is a vector quantity. So any vector quantity can be represented by an arrow. This is arrow, and this length of the arrow represents magnitude, and it is called tail. Magnitude of the given vector, and this tip of the arrow is called head, and it represents direction. So if you put arrow over that physical quantity, it means arrow means what? Both magnitude and direction. This length of the arrow represents magnitude and tip of the arrow represents direction. And this length of the arrow is called tail and tip of the arrow is called head. So this is the representation of vector. You put arrow over any physical quantity, then this quantity becomes vector. This arrow represents vector quantity. Mathematically, how it is represented? Suppose A is any vector quantity, right? A is any vector quantity. Vector, because you are putting arrow over here, so it is a vector quantity. It means it has both magnitude as well as direction. So magnitude is represented by mod of that vector A. If you put mod over this one, vector A, it represents magnitude. It is magnitude vector, and this A and put cap over it, this represents direction of this vector A, and it is called unit vector. So any vector can be represented as mod of that vector into A cap of that vector. It means unit vector. So here both magnitude and direction is used, and this represents any vector fully, right? Now, before starting types of vector, you must know of two important points about vector. These two are very, very important points, right? First is, vector can be shifted without changing direction. If you want to shift vector from one place to another place, it can be shifted very easily without changing direction. It is also called parallel shifting. Suppose this is vector A. Now you can shift this vector by parallel shifting without changing direction. This also represents the same vector A, right? Magnitude is same, direction is same. This is vector B. Now you just shift parallel. This also represents vector B. So if you add any two vectors, suppose A and B, if you want to add, you just draw A vector this side and put B vector near this A vector by parallel shifting. Suppose this is B vector, you want to add B with A, so you just put A vector by parallel shifting here. So in this way you add these two vectors. So very, very important point you must keep in mind. Vector can be shifted without changing direction, right? It is also called free vectors. Second point is, always join tail to tail, and the angle between this tail to tail, we always take a smaller angle, shorter angle between tail to tail. Suppose here vector A and B is given, angle between these two is 120 degrees, sorry, it is greater than 90 degrees. So it is not correct, right? If it is given like this one, now with the help of this parallel shifting, this is vector B, you draw vector A, this is vector A, so you can draw vector A as this one. This is also represents vector A, extending this side. Now this one is 120 degree, total is 180 degree. So this angle becomes, A and B becomes what? 60 degree. So theta equal to 60 degree is the correct angle between A and B. You take 60 degree instead of 120 degree. Always take shorter and smaller angle between the two vectors when you join vector from tail to tail, right? So please take a screenshot of this one. After that, we will discuss about types of vectors. Now, next, types of vectors. There are different types of vectors. First one is equal vector. Equal vectors means if the two vectors are said to be equal, if both have same magnitude and same direction. Suppose there are two vectors A and B. both the vectors are in the same direction and their magnitude is also same. So you can say that these two vectors are equal vectors. Vector A equal to vector B. If same magnitude and same direction, then the vectors are called equal vectors. In this way, same definition is for unequal vector. Unequal vectors means here difference is that both vectors have unequal magnitude but same direction, or equal magnitude but opposite direction. Any one thing is different. In that case, you can say that vectors are unequal vectors, right? Then next is negative vector. Negative vector means magnitude is same but their direction is opposite, right? Same magnitude but opposite direction. Suppose this one is vector A and this one is vector B. Both have same magnitude but their direction is opposite to each other. In this case, we can say that vector A is equal to negative of vector B, or vector B is negative of vector A. These are called negative vectors. Then collinear vectors. Collinear, linear means along the same straight line. If the vectors two or more, either their magnitudes are same or unequal, right? But if the two vectors are along the same line, either their magnitudes are equal or unequal magnitude but act along the same line or along parallel line, then that vectors are collinear vectors. If they both act along the same line or along the same parallel line. So collinear vectors may be parallel vector or anti-parallel vector. Parallel vector means suppose there are two vectors A and B. Their magnitude may be same or not same. So here A and B are of unequal magnitude but their direction is same, right? So here angle is what? 0 degree. In this case, these vectors are called parallel vectors. Here A vector, B vector both are along the same straight line. Here angle is 0. In that case, parallel vector, you can say like vector. Anti-parallel vectors means suppose this one is vector A and this another vector is in opposite direction to vector A. But here their magnitudes are also unequal but their directions are opposite to each other. They act along the same line but their directions opposite to each other, 180 degree angle between them. In that case, these vectors are called anti-parallel vector. So collinear vector may be parallel vector or anti-parallel vector. Parallel means if the angle between the two vectors is 0 degree. Anti-parallel means if the angle between the two vectors is 180 degree, right? After this, next one is zero vector. Zero vector is also called null vector. Null or zero means what? Their magnitude is 0 but direction is arbitrary. Arbitrary means any direction. Direction of unit this zero vector or null vector is in any direction. Direction is arbitrary but its magnitude is 0. Suppose this is vector A and negative of this vector is minus A and this A minus A vector is 0 vector. This is called zero vector or null vector whose magnitude is 0 but direction is arbitrary, right? Then co-initial vectors, initial and co. Co means same. So co-initial vector means same initial point. Suppose this is vector A and this side is vector B. Both vectors starts from the same initial point O. So these two vectors are co-initial vectors. Then the most important type of vector is unit vector, also called directional vector. This unit vector is used for what? Used to rotate the direction of any vectors. It is represented by, suppose A is any vector and over this A there is a cap. This A cap represents unit vector. Unit vector, unit means its magnitude is what? 1. So unit vector are those vectors whose magnitude is 1 and it represents direction of this given vector. So unit vector is used to represent direction of any vector. Suppose force is acting along towards right side, north, south, west. So this unit vector is used to represent that vector. And it's so this vector is very, very important. And what is the formula for this unit vector? A cap. You know, suppose A is any vector and this vector, any vector can be represented as magnitude and direction both, na? So this mod A represents magnitude. Already discussed these things. And this represents direction. And this one is called unit vector. So unit vector becomes what? vector A divided by mod of A. This is the formula for unit vector. Any vector is equal to mod A into A cap. A cap is called unit vector. It is used to represent direction of any vector. That's why it is also called directional vector. And A cap equal to mod A by A. So now again, this unit vector is used to represent direction of any vector. So in case of Cartesian coordinates, it means along x, y and z axis, different unit vectors are used to represent a particular direction of that vector, right? So please take a screenshot of this one, then we'll discuss unit vector in Cartesian coordinates and other types of vectors. Now, unit vector in Cartesian form. What is this? Unit vectors are those vectors whose magnitude is 1 and it is used to represent direction of any vector. In case of 3 directions, 3 dimension along x, y and z axis. So, we always take I cap is a unit vector which is along x-axis. This I cap is used to represent direction along x-axis. This j cap is a unit vector which is used to represent direction along y-axis, and k cap is a unit vector which is used to represent direction along z-axis. So any vector can be written as x is magnitude and I shows direction along x-axis, plus y is magnitude along y direction, and this j cap is used to represent the direction is y. Then z is magnitude and k cap is used to represent direction along z axis. So any vector can be written as like this one, xi plus yj plus zk. Now you have to find unit vector of that particular vector. How you find? You know, this vector is written as mod A into A cap. Now A cap is what? Vector A by mod A. So vector is already given xi plus yj plus zk. How you calculate mod A? So mod A is magnitude along x-axis is what? X, along y direction y, and along z direction z. So under root x square plus y square plus z square. Suppose A vector is 2y plus 3j plus 1k, right? So how you find mod A? Under root along x-axis magnitude is 2 square plus 3 square plus 1 square. You can solve this one. 2 2s are 4, 3 3s are 9 plus 1 10. 1, so 10 under root 14. You solve this one. Okay, in this way you find mod A, and after calculating mod A you can easily find unit vector is vector A by mod A. In this way you can calculate unit vector, right? Next is orthogonal unit vector. Unit vector, you know, those vectors whose magnitude is 1 but direction, and it is used to represent direction. Orthogonal means what? All the unit vectors along x, y and z axis are perpendicular to each other. They are 90-degree angle, right? 90 degree. All the unit vectors are perpendicular to each other and their magnitudes are equal to 1. Then you can say that these are orthogonal unit vectors, right? So these are about types of vectors and unit vectors. Next most important topic is addition of vectors. You simply add scalar quantity, but to add any vector quantity you have to apply vector law of addition. So what are different law? First one is triangle law of vector addition, second one is parallelogram law of vector addition, and third one is polygon law of vector addition. In triangle law of vector addition we use head to tail method. It means we join head of one vector to the tail of another vector. In parallelogram law of vector addition, tail to tail method. It means we have to join tail of one vector to the tail of another vector. Then polygon law of vector addition, in this one head to tail. It means head of one vector is joined to the tail of another vector. So we will discuss these vector addition in details, right? Please take a screenshot. Now vector addition. First one is triangle law of vector addition. If suppose there are two vectors A and B and it makes some angle theta between them, then how you apply this law? According to this triangle law of vector addition, it states that if two vectors represents two sides of a triangle taken in same order, then their resultant represents the third sides of a triangle taken in opposite order. Let us discuss what is this one. Suppose there are two vectors A and B. A is along this one and B is along this side, and let theta be the angle between these two vectors, right? Now, you know parallel shifting, you can shift the vectors along the same directions parallelly, right? So this is vector A. You first draw vector A here. This one is called tail and this tip is called head. Now this vector B, parallel shifting you have to use, and the tail of vector B is added to the head of this, joined to the head of this vector A. This method is also called head to tail method. Why? In this triangle law, head of one vector is joined to the tail of another vector. Here vector A, this one is head of vector A, and this is joined to the tail of another vector V. This one is tail. Taken in the same order. This one vector A, then same order vector B. These two vector represents two sides of a triangle. Then this is resultant, right? Taken in opposite order. If this is anti-clockwise, then resultant is clockwise. A and B are in anti-clockwise, then resultant are taken in clockwise direction, reverse order. Then the resultant represents third side of a triangle. This one is third side of a triangle taken in opposite order. This is triangle law of vector addition. So this R represents the sum of these two vectors A and B. This is resultant of A and B. Now, what is the magnitude of this resultant and what is its direction? So here you must remember this formula, magnitude of this resultant R of two vectors A and B. If it makes angle theta between them, it is given by R equal to under root A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta, where theta is angle between A and B, right? And what is the direction of this resultant of A and B? Let us suppose that it makes angle alpha with the A vector, right? So this tan alpha is given by B sin theta by A plus B cos theta. You have to remember these two formulas, magnitude of R and direction of R. Now I am going to prove these two formulas, but no need to prove this one. You just remember this one. What is magnitude of R? R is under root A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. What is direction of this R? With this A vector, x-axis, tan alpha is B sin theta by A plus B cos theta. Now how you prove this one? So I am going to prove these two formulas. This one is vector A, right? Now this tip of vector A, head of vector A is joined to tail of vector B. This one is vector B, and then this R represents resultant of this A and B. This R is what? Vector A plus vector B. Now by parallel shifting, you just, this is vector A, so this one is also vector A, right now? By the dotted line, you draw one normal over this vector A. This Q1 is the normal. It means this is 90 degree. And you know, we always take a smallest angle between two vectors. If this is A vector, this one is B vector, then this angle is very large, greater than 90 degree. So this is also vector A. So the angle between A and B is theta, smallest angle we always take. Theta is the angle between A and B vector, right? Now you have to find this R. So to calculate R, you have to take bigger triangle QON. And from where you get QN? QN you have to find from this smaller triangle QPN. So first you take smaller triangle, this one, PQN. Here it is 90 degree. So from triangle PQN, here this is 90 degree and this one is vector B. So by Pythagoras theorem, this QN is what? B sin theta, and this base PN is what? B cos theta. Now from bigger triangle, this OQN, this is 90 degree, so this one is hypotenuse. R square equal to QN square plus ON square. So from triangle OQN, this OQ square equal to this ON square plus QN square, right? What is the value of ON? ON is OP plus PN. So OP is what? A, and PN is what? B cos theta. whole square, right? This term plus qn. Qn is what? B sine theta. So b sine theta whole square. Now a plus b whole square, no formula, a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta plus this one. So you take sine square theta and b square as common, then sine square theta plus cos square theta is 1. So it becomes r square equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta, and in this way r equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. This is the formula for resultant of two vectors a and b making an angle theta between them, right? Now how you find direction of this resultant r? Suppose this resultant r makes angle alpha with this x-axis or a vector, right? Now tan alpha is what? From this triangle OQN. Tan alpha is Qn by On. Qn by On. Qn is what? B sine theta. On is what? A plus B cos theta. So this is the direction. This alpha represents direction of resultant of A and B with the A axis. How much it makes angle with the A vector? Alpha angle. And tan alpha is given by B sine theta plus A plus B cos theta. In this way you can prove these two relations also, but you must remember these points: magnitude of r and direction of r. These are triangle law of vector addition. It is also called head to tail method because head of one vector is joined to the tail of another vector, and these two vectors represents the two sides of a triangle taken in same order. Then the third side represents resultant of these two vectors taken in opposite order. If these two vectors are in anti-clockwise order, then resultant is in clockwise order, right? So please take a screenshot of this one. Then we will discuss parallelogram law of vector addition. Next one is parallelogram law of vector addition. It is similar to triangle law of vector addition, but it can be used to add any kind of vectors. That's why we generally use parallelogram law of vector addition. What is this? Suppose there are two vectors A and B, and if these two vectors represents the two adjacent sides of a parallelogram. Parallelogram, you know, opposite sides are equal and parallel. If this one is A, there are opposite sides. This one is also A and parallel to A. If this one is B, then this one is also B, parallel and equal to B. So if these A and B vectors represents two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, then their resultant is represented by the diagonal of this parallelogram. This one is diagonal of the parallelogram, right? And all 3 points starts from the same point. Vector A is drawn from this point, suppose O. Vector B is also drawn from this point, same. Then their resultant R is also drawn from the same common point O, right? So this resultant is nothing but diagonal of the parallelogram. So how you state this law? According to this law, if the two vector represents two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, then their resultant is represented by the diagonal of a parallelogram drawn from the same point. And again, here there are two triangles, so it can be easily proved with the help of triangle law vector addition that resultant R is given by same as in case of triangle law. A square under root A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta, and direction of this resultant R, it makes angle alpha with the A is B sin theta by A plus B cos theta. Proof is same. To prove this one, again this is A vector. By parallel shifting, this one is again a vector, this is B, this one is again B. If you take this triangle O and suppose this one is P, Q and N. O, P, Q, here triangle law, vector A plus vector B is vector R. Again O and Q, vector B plus vector A is vector R. So answer is same. Either you use parallelogram law of vector addition or triangle law of vector addition. To prove this one, simply you draw one normal. And this one, this is vector A, right? Now this side is vector A, this side is vector B, and it makes angle theta between them. So this term becomes what? B cos theta. This one is B sin theta. Then you take longer triangle O Q P. Then R square is equal to A plus B cos theta whole square plus B sin theta whole square. You can prove in this way. Same method as like that of the triangle law of vector addition. Law of vector addition. Law of vector addition. It is nothing but This polygon law of vector addition is generalized form of triangle law of vector addition, and it is used when more than two vectors are given. Then how you add if more than two vectors are given? Suppose one vector is like this one, another is like this one, third one is like this one, fourth one is like this one. Then how you add these four vectors? You have to use polygon law of vector addition. According to this law, if a number of vectors are given both having magnitude and direction, these are represented by the open sides of a polygon taken in same order. Then their resultant is represented by the closing sides of a polygon taken in opposite order. For example, suppose you have to add these two vectors. So first, suppose number 1, number 2, number 3 and number 4 vectors. You have to add these 4 vectors. First you draw first vector like this one. Then you have to draw second vector like this one. Then the resultant of these two vectors is what? This one, opposite order. This is resultant of first two vectors. Now with this resultant you have to draw third vector. Third vector is like this one, like this one. This is third vector, and resultant of first two with third vector taken in same order, then this is resultant of these two vectors, right? Again with this resultant you have to add fourth vector. Fourth vector is like this one, so resultant is this one. This is the resultant of these four vectors. So if a number of vectors are given both having magnitude and direction, then these all vectors represents sides of an open polygon. Then the resultant is represented by the closing sides of a polygon taken in opposite order. All these sides are in the same order, right now? Same order. But the resultant is represented in opposite order by the closing sides of a polygon, right? So this is simply a triangle law of vector addition, but it is used when more than two vectors are given. Okay, hope it's clear to all of you. Now these are about vector addition, but how you subtract two vectors? Subtraction of vectors, right? If two vectors are given, suppose A and B vectors, right? One vector is like this one, this is vector A, and another vector is like this one, this is vector B. Now how you subtract these two vectors? The resultant of these two vectors must be A minus B, but you can't add directly A minus B. First, to get this result you have to write in this way also, A minus B vector na, and then you add with A. So simply if you want to subtract two vectors, you take negative of one vector then add to the first one. You get the result A minus B. And how you draw this one? This is A vector and B vector is this one. So you take negative of this B vector. Negative of this B vector is what? This one. Just draw in opposite direction. This is negative of B vector. Now you have to add A with this minus B. So A vector is like this one, right now. This is A vector and B vector is, using triangle law, this one is B vector minus B vector. Then the resultant is shown by this line. This is resultant R equal to A plus minus B vector. In this way you subtract two vectors. So you can't add you can't subtract directly the two vectors. You just take negative of one vector and then add to the first vector. Then what is the resultant magnitude of this subtraction of two vectors? Here addition is there, A plus A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta under root. This is resultant magnitude of this, right now. Now what is the resultant magnitude of this resultant? R equal to A minus B. So it's simply under root A square plus B square minus 2AB cos theta. Here plus is there, here minus. Why minus comes? Because here angle between A and B is suppose theta, right now. This is angle between A and B is theta. So angle between A and minus B becomes what? 180 minus theta. Then you put 180 minus theta in place of theta, you get that result, right? Cos 180 minus theta is minus cos theta, then you get the result, this one. Same way, what is direction of this resultant? Tan alpha. So same, B sin theta by A, in place of plus you write minus B cos theta. Here again cos 180 minus theta is minus cos theta, and sin 180 minus theta is plus cos sin theta. So simply b sin theta by a minus cos theta. This is direction of resultant of subtraction of two vectors, right? So just it is addition. Subtraction is nothing but just addition of one vector with the negative of another vector. So hope it's clear to all of you. Please take a screenshot of this one. Now next is, there are some properties of vector arithmetic. First one is vector addition is commutative. Commutative law, you know, if you add any two numbers, 1 plus 2 is always equal to 2 plus 1. In the same way, if a and b are two vectors and you add a plus b, this is equal to b plus a. You can prove this by using any triangle law of vector addition or parallelogram law of vector addition, right? So vector addition is commutative. Next one is vector addition is associative. Here if a, b, c are three vectors, then a plus, first you add b plus c, then you add with a, you get the same result as when you add a plus b, then you get add the resultant with c, you get the same answer. It means vector addition is associative. Now zero or null vector, what is this? We already discussed about zero vector. Null vector, it means zero magnitude, but it has any arbitrary direction. It can have any free direction, right? And how you get this null vector? Suppose this is vector a and negative of this vector is just negative direction minus a, magnitude is same but direction is opposite. When you add these two vectors a plus minus a, you get 0, and this 0 is a zero vector or null vector, right? There are some properties of zero vectors. If you add zero vector to any vector, you get the vector itself, right? And if you multiply zero vector with any vector, you get the answer 0. So these two are very important properties of the zero or null vector, right? I am just doing these things fast because these are not so important, but these points kept in mind, these 2 points. If you add 0 to any vector, you get the result vector itself. If you multiply 0 to any vector, you get 0 result, right? Now next property is a vector multiplied by a positive scalar gives a vector in same direction. If you multiply any scalar quantity to a vector, positive scalar quantity to any vector, you get the vector in the same direction. Suppose here lambda is a scalar. A scalar means any 2, 3, 4, anything. If you multiply this scalar with this vector, you get lambda a. The resultant is itself a vector, but and also its direction is same. Suppose a is this one, right? Now you multiply this a with 2a. So 2a is again a vector in the same direction, but just its magnitude is twice. So a is this one, so twice a is this one. This is, in this way you multiply positive scalar quantity. The resultant vector is in same direction, right? If you multiply a vector with positive scalar, the resultant vector is in same direction. But if you multiply a vector by a negative scalar, minus lambda, here minus lambda is a negative scalar, and this one is a vector. So resultant is again a vector, but its direction is opposite to that of the given vector, right? It's give a vector but in opposite order. Suppose a is this one, right? Now you want to find, here lambda is 2, so minus 2a, you get minus 2a. So minus 2a means again magnitude is 2 times. 2 times of this one is this one, but its direction is opposite. So this one is minus 2a. So in this way, positive scalar, if you multiply, you get the vector in the same direction. If you multiply negative scalar, you get the vector in the opposite direction. These are some properties of vector addition. Please take a screenshot. Now, next is resolution of a vector. Resolution means a splitting of a given vector into 2 or more vectors. And splitting is such that their combined effect is same as that of a given vector. So this is nothing but this is just process of splitting of a given vector into 2 or more vectors. Let us suppose that vector A, it makes angle theta with the x-axis. This is vector A and it makes angle theta with the x-axis. Now, also let us suppose that this AX is component of A along x-axis and AY is component of A along y-axis. These vector A is split into 2 vectors, AX along x-axis and AY along y-axis. This AX and AY are called components of A. components of vector A. Now, we always use unit vector to represent direction. So this Ax is along x-axis, so you use I unit vector. Ay is along y-axis, so use j unit vector. Now, how you write this vector A in terms of this unit vectors, right? This vector A, it has two components. Along x-axis Ax and direction you take I unit vector, plus along y direction component is Ay and unit vector j. So you can write vector A into these two components, Axi plus Ayz. Now from this figure, what is this Ax? If you take this triangle, this O, A and B, this Ax is base and this one is hypotenuse A. So this Ax becomes A cos theta. Again, this is Ay, so this one is also Ay. This Ay becomes A sin theta. So from the figure, you can write Ax is A cos theta and Ay is A sin theta. Now squaring and adding these two vectors, you get Ax square plus Ay square equal to A square. Then sin square theta plus cos theta is 1. So here you get A square equal to Ax square plus Ay square. A equal to under root Ax square plus Ay square. This A is nothing but magnitude of vector A. So if any vector is resolved into two components Ax and Ay, its magnitude is given by A equal to under root Ax square plus Ay square. This A you can also write in this way: magnitude of vector A, modulus of vector A, magnitude of vector A. This and this is same thing, right? And this is equal to under root Ax square plus Ay square, right? Now what is direction of A? It makes angle theta with the x-axis. So you just simply find tan theta from this triangle OAB. So tan theta is what? Perpendicular by base. So Ay by Ax. This from here you can easily calculate theta. Theta is tan inverse Ay by Ax. It gives direction of A. Now what is the unit vector of A? You have to find unit vector of A. You know any vector can be written as what? Any vector can be written as modulus of A, magnitude into direction. Direction gives unit vector A cap. So here unit vector of A, how you find? A cap is equal to vector A by mod A. Mod A means this is magnitude of A. Vector A is what? Axi plus Ayj, and what is magnitude of A? Under root Ax square plus Ay square. In this way you calculate unit vector A. This is if you break this vector A into two components along x and y axis in 2 dimension or in plane. In 3 dimension, if a vector has 3 components along x, y and z axis, along x-axis Ax component, along y-axis Ay and along z-axis Az, then you can write in this way: vector A equal to Axi plus Ayj plus Azk in 3 dimension. And again magnitude of A is what? Under root Ax square plus Ay square plus Az square. So it's very simple. Any vector is given in the exams and then you have to find magnitude of that vector, direction of that vector, unit vector of that vector. So I'm going to solve one question. If vector A is 2i plus 3j, right? This vector is given 2i plus 3j. Now you have to find magnitude of A, direction of A and unit vector of A. How you find these 3 things? Okay. First you take a screenshot. Then hope you have written. Okay, now I am going to solve that example, right? Okay, how you solve this example? First is vector is given 2i plus 3j. Right? This is vector A. Now you have to find magnitude of this vector. It means mod of this A. Or you can write A equal to. What is the formula for this one? Mod of A is under root Ax square plus Ay square. Ax is component of vector along x-axis. So this is Ax and this is Ay. So under root this 2 square plus 3 square. Under root 4 plus 9, it is equal to what? Under root 13 units. So in this way you find mod of A, magnitude of A. Second one is direction of A. So what is the formula for direction? of vector A, it makes angle theta with the x-axis, and tan theta is given by what? AY by AX. So what is AY? AY is this vector along, components of vector along y direction 3 and AX is 2. So in this way you find theta equal to tan inverse 3 by 2, right? Now third part is unit vector of A. Unit vector of A vector. So unit vector formula is what? This A cap equal to vector A by magnitude of that vector A, right? So vector A is what? 2i plus 3j, okay? And magnitude of A is what? Root over 13. So in this way you calculate this unit vector A. So if any vector is given in 2 dimension or 3 dimension, use the formula and simplify all these parts: magnitude, direction, unit vector, everything. Okay, so hope it's clear to all of you. Now multiplication of vectors. This topic is very important, right? A vector can be multiplied in two ways. First method is dot product or scalar product, and second one is cross product or vector product. What is the difference between these two methods? First one is dot product, or it is also called scalar product. It means if you multiply any two vectors and the resultant of these multiplication of vectors is a scalar quantity, then that product is called dot product. As a resultant of these two vectors is a scalar quantity, so it is also called scalar product. Dot product means suppose this A and B are two vectors and theta is the angle between these two vectors. Then A dot B, dot product of two vectors is written as A dot B. It is equal to AB cos theta. This is the formula for dot product. And AB cos theta is a scalar quantity. That's why this dot product is also called scalar product. For example, work. You know, work is multiplication of force and displacement. Both force and displacement are vector quantity, but work is a scalar quantity. So it is not written as F cross S, it is F dot S. It is dot product, and resultant is a scalar quantity, so it is also called scalar product. In the same way, power is F dot V. Force and velocity both have vector quantity, but power is a scalar quantity. So these are there are many other examples for dot product. Hope it's clear what is dot product. If two vectors are multiplied and their resultant is a scalar quantity, then that is called dot product or scalar product. Now come to second one, cross product. Cross means two vectors are multiplied by the symbol A cross B, and it is also called vector product because when you multiply any two vectors and the resultant is again a vector quantity, then that is called cross product or vector product. It is here A cross B. These are two vectors A and B, and suppose theta is the angle between A and B vectors. Now A cross B is equal to AB sin theta. Here in dot product AB cos theta. In cross product A cross B equal to AB sin theta, and this is n cap. N cap is a unit vector and its direction is what? Perpendicular to both A and B. It means when you cross any two vectors, the resultant, this quantity is again a vector. Let us suppose that this is equal to C vector. So when you multiply any two vectors, the resultant is again a vector quantity. This is called cross product or vector product. And the direction of resultant is given by this unit vector n cap. N cap is perpendicular to both A and B. Suppose this is A and this one is B vector, right? So perpendicular to A and B is what? Upward. Suppose this is your right hand, right? Now you curl your four fingers from this A to B, anti-clockwise direction from A to B. Then this thumb represents upward direction. It means the resultant is in upward direction. If suppose A is here and B is this side, and now you have to find direction of A cross B. Now you curl your fingers from A to B, right hand palm rule. This is called right hand thumb rule. Curl your fingers from A to B, then this thumb is in downward direction. This thumb gives direction of the resultant vector. So here, resultant vector is in downward direction. Hope it's clear how you find the direction, and direction of resultant vector is both perpendicular to A and B vector, right? For example, torque. You already know torque now. Torque is a vector product of R and F. R is perpendicular distance, right? From the fixed point, F is force applied. R cross F is torque, and this torque is a vector quantity. So this is example of this one. There are also many other quantity, right? Vector quantity. So what are different properties of these two type of products? Let us discuss one by one. First one is, I'm going to discuss about dot product, properties of dot product. Number one, A dot B is equal to B dot A. It means dot product follows commutative law. A dot B is equal to B dot A. How you can prove this one also? This A dot B is what? AB cos theta. And B dot A. B dot A means, suppose, okay, this side is A and this vector is B. And theta is the angle between this. Then A dot B is what? AB cos theta. Right now? Okay. Now B dot A. B dot A means B to A. And B to is A angle is what? 360 minus theta. So this becomes AB cos 360 minus theta. And cos 360 minus theta is again plus cos theta. So AB cos theta is equal to, this again becomes AB cos theta. It means A dot B equal to B dot A. It follows commutative law, right? Second one, distributive law. If suppose there are three vectors A, B and C, then A dot B plus C is equal to A dot B plus B dot C, right? Third one, suppose the angle between the two vectors is 0 degree. It means the two vectors are along the same line. Angle is 0, or you can say the two vectors are parallel. Then in that case, A dot B equal to what? AB cos 0. Cos 0 is 1. It means AB, right? If both the vectors are same, magnitude is also same, then A dot A equal to A square. Because cos 0 is what? 1. So when theta is 0, A dot A is A square, and when theta is 90 degree, when the two vectors are mutually perpendicular, one vector is along this side, another vector is along this side A, this side B. Then in this case, A dot B is what? AB cos 90, and cos 90 is 0, so A dot B is 0. Right? A dot B is 0. So when there is a question that proves that the two vectors are mutually perpendicular, you always find what? Dot product. And if it is equal to 0, it means the two vectors are perpendicular. Okay? Next, this property is very, very important. I is the unit vector along x-axis, J is the unit vector along y-axis, and K is the unit vector along z-axis. This one, this side, this. Okay, x, y and z. This side unit vector I used I, y side j, and k unit vector represents z direction, right? If you take dot product of I dot I, same, I dot I means same direction, angle is 0 degree. So when angle is 0, A dot A is A square, right now? Then angle is 0, I dot I is a what? Unit vector, magnitude is 1. So I dot I is 1 dot 1, 1. J dot J, 1. K dot K, 1. So dot product of the same unit vector with the vector itself, I dot I, J dot J, K dot J, it is equal to 1. But I dot J, both have magnitude 1. But angle is what? 90 degree. When angle is 90 degree, then A dot B is 0. So I dot J, J dot K, K dot A, I, all these are 0. So you must remember this point. When theta is 0, it means I dot I, J dot J, K dot K, it is equal to 1. And when theta is 90 degree, it means I dot J, J dot K, and K dot I, all are three are mutually perpendicular to each other. In that case, their scalar product is 0. Suppose there are two vectors A and B and their dot product you are going to find. So how you find the dot product of any two vectors? How you calculate? Let us suppose that vector A is represented as AXI plus AYJ plus AZK and vector B as BXI plus BYA plus BZK. Now you have to find the dot product of these two vectors A and B. So you multiply A dot B. It means, you know, when you multiply these A vector with B dot product, so I dot I becomes 1, J dot J becomes 1, K dot K becomes 1. It means AX BX plus AY BY plus AZ BZ. Because when you multiply AXI with BYJ, it is 0. AXI with BZJ, it is 0. So in case of this dot product, the answer of the two vectors is always sum of product of their corresponding rectangular components. I component AX BX, then plus AY BY, then plus AZ BZ. In this way you find dot product of two vectors. So take a screenshot of this one, then I will hope you have taken screenshot of this one right now. Okay, now I am going to solve one dot product question, right? Let us suppose that if A is given as 2I plus 3j plus k and B vector is given as 2I minus j plus k. Okay, now find A dot B and also angle between them. Okay, this is the question. Now how you solve this one? First you find dot product of these two vectors A dot B. So what is the result of A dot B? This I with I, it is AX, AY and AZ, and here with vector B, this is BX, BY and BZ. Now formula for A dot B is what? AX BX plus AY BY plus AZ BZ, right? AX BX is I component, right now. So this here is 2 and here is again 2. It means 2 into 2 plus AY BY. Here AY is 3 and BY is what? Minus 1. So 3 into minus 1 plus AZ BZ. Here is 1, here is 1. 1 into 1. It becomes 4. 3, 1 minus 3 plus 1. So this becomes 5 minus 3. It means 2. So A dot B is what? A dot B is 2 unit, right? Now you have to find angle between them. So you know A dot B is equal to AB cos theta. So you have to find theta. It means cos theta equal to A dot B by AB. A dot B you already find. Its answer is 2. Now you have to find AB mod of A and B. So mod A is equal to under root vector A is what? 2I plus 3j plus k. So components AX, AY and AZ. Square of this AX square means 2 square plus 3 square plus 1 square. It becomes under root 2 to 4 plus 3, 3, 9 plus 1. Under root 9 plus 4, 13 plus 1, 14 unit, right? Again mod of B, or you can say B vector. This is magnitude of B. This is, you can write AB also, or A dot B equal to mod A mod B also. Same thing. You can write mod A vector also, or simply A also, mod B or simply B also. So mod of A is this one and mod of B becomes under root 2 square plus minus 1 square, right? Here minus 1, here is 1. So again plus 1 square. It becomes 2 to the 4 plus 1, it means under root 6. Now you have to find cos theta. How you find cos theta? This cos theta equal to A dot B. A dot B is what? 2 divided by mod A into mod B or AB. So A is what? A becomes under root 14 and B becomes under root 6. So this is 2 by under root 6, 4, 24, 6, 1, 6, 7, 8. 2 by under root 84. Or you can say theta equal to cos inverse 2 by under root 84. In this way, you find angle between these two vectors, right? So if two vectors are given and to find dot product of the two vectors, you just multiply their components, corresponding rectangular components, because I dot I is 1, so this AX into BX, J dot Z is 1, so this AY into BY, K dot K is 1, so this AZ into BZ. Add all these things, you get A dot B. Okay, hope it's clear to all of you. Take a screenshot. Now, next is properties of vector product or cross product. What are different properties like scalar product? Okay, so here first one is A cross B is not equal to B cross A. A cross B is what? AB sin theta, right now. And B cross A, how you find B cross A? It means suppose A is this side, right, and B is towards this side. Okay, and theta is the angle between these two vectors. So A cross B, it means you move from A to B. AB sin theta. Now B cross A. B cross A means you move from B to A. This angle is how much? 360 minus theta. Na? So B cross A is BA sin 360 minus theta, and sin 360 minus theta is minus sin theta. So this is minus BA sin theta. It means A cross B is not equal to B cross A, but A cross B is equal to minus of B cross A. Is it clear? Okay. Now second, so it does not follow commutative law. Now second, A cross B plus C equal to A cross B plus A cross C. It means it is distributive over this vector product. It follows distributive law, right? Distributive. Okay. Now third one, for parallel vectors. Parallel vectors means if the two vectors makes angle 0 degree between them. When theta is 0, then A cross B is what? AB sin 0, and sin 0 is 0. It means A cross B is 0 for two parallel vectors. Or A cross A, both vectors are same, it is also equal to 0. For mutually perpendicular vectors, if the angle between the two vectors is 90 degree, one vector is along this side and the vector is along this side, then A cross B is AB sin 90. Sin 90 is what? So A cross B equal to AB. It is maximum value for 90 degree, right? You remember these points. In case of dot product, A dot B for parallel vectors is what? It is not equal to 0, but A cross B here is 0. In this one, dot product, A dot B for mutually perpendicular vectors, it is equal to 0. But here for mutually perpendicular vectors, A cross B is not equal to 0. Reciprocal of both, right now. Here for parallel vectors it is 0, and that one in case of dot product, perpendicular vectors, it is 0. Now some properties for orthogonal unit vector. In dot product, I dot I, J dot J, K dot J, it is equal to 1. But here, I cross J, J cross K and K cross A. I cross J, I is along this direction, J is along this. So K is perpendicular to both I and J. So I cross J is K, J cross K is I, and K cross I is J. In the same way, if you reverse the order, I cross J is J. Like A cross B is equal to minus B cross A. So I cross J equal to K. It means J cross I equal to minus K. K cross J equal to minus I. I cross K equal to minus J. But for similar vector, orthogonal unit vectors, this one is I cross I, J cross J and K cross K. It is equal to 0. But in case of dot product, I dot I, J dot J, K dot K equal to 1. But here it is 0. And mutually perpendicular vectors, I cross J, then I is along this one, J is along this one. You just curl your fingers I to J, it is along K direction. So I cross J is K. But I cross J is K, but J cross I, it is equal to minus K. For clockwise direction, you always take negative sign. For anti-clockwise, you take positive sign. But you can remember with the help of this one also, you just write I, J and K here. If it is anti-clockwise, you take positive sign. And I, J, K here, if it is clockwise, then you take negative sign. For example, I cross J. I cross J. So I cross J, it means anti-clockwise, it is equal to K, positive sign. J cross I, j cross I, it is equal to I, and this is k cross I. From k to I, it is equal to j. But I cross j is k, but j cross I here, j cross I, it means clockwise rotation, it is equal to minus of k, right? Again here I cross k, so I cross k is again minus j, and k cross j is again minus I. So for you just remember this one, ig, just write I, j and k. For anti-clockwise you take positive sign, for clockwise rotation you take negative sign. In this way you remember these signs. You must remember these points are very very important. I cross j k, j cross k I, k cross I j, and you reverse the order. J cross I is minus k cross j is minus I, and I cross k is minus j. Now vector product of two vectors. Suppose there are two vectors, one is A and another one is B. A is AXI plus AYJ plus AZK, and B is BXI plus BYJ plus BZK. Now cross product of these two vectors A cross B is, first you take I unit vector, inside this AX BY minus AZ BY, right? Sorry, here this I is, I think, AY here. Okay, it's wrong. AY and BZ. Something is written wrong. BZ minus AZ BY. Yeah, it's okay. I is AY BZ minus AZ BY minus J unit vector AX BZ minus AZ BX plus K unit vector AX BY minus AY BX. How you remember this one? That A cross B is this formula. You just use determinant form. You just write unit vectors I, J and K. In both the vectors I, J, K unit vectors, just write in one row I, J, K. Then second row you write components of A, AX, AY and ZZ. And third one you write components of B, BX, BY and BZ. Now first you write I unit vector. I is what? This one, this cross multiplication, this one, AY BZ minus AZ BY. Then you write J. J, it means you leave this column and this row, then I and K. I cross K is what? Minus J. So you write minus J here, then AX BZ minus AZ BX. Then K unit vector, you leave this column and row, then K becomes I cross J is AX BY here minus AY BZ. So this is solved using determinant and Cramer's rule, right? It requires practice. You can easily solve this one also. So I will solve one question based on this formula, so it's clear for you, right? Now next, A cross B is AB sin theta. Sin theta is A cross B by mod A mod B, and unit vectors perpendicular to both A and B is what? A cross B is AB sin theta, unit vector this one. So n is A cross B by mod A cross B. So please take a screenshot of this one. Hope it's clear to all of you. Then I will solve one problem based on this vector product. Now, question is, vector A is given 2i plus 3j minus k, and vector B is given minus I plus 2j plus k. Now you have to find first A cross B and then unit vector perpendicular to A and B. So how you find A cross B? To find A cross B, you write in first row I, j, k unit vector. In second row, components of A. 2, 3, minus 1. Then in third row you write components of B. Minus 1 here, here 2 and here 1. Minus 1, 2 and 1. Now you solve this one. How you find? Using determinant formula, you know, I think maths students know these things better. So to find first I, you take this, you leave this column and leave this row. Then left is what? 3, minus 1, 2 and 1. You just leave this one. For I component, you leave these things. So only what is left? 3, minus 1, 2 and 1. Then minus j. And to calculate j, you leave these things. J column and j, this row. This 2, minus 1 and 1 is left. Then k. So to write k component, you cancel this row and this column. Both. So only 2, 3, minus 1 and 2 is left. You write in this form. Then now you cross multiply these things, right? It's very simple. Cross multiply. So 3, 1 is 3 minus 2 into minus 1 is minus 2. So I 3 minus 2. Minus j 2 into 1 is 2 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1 plus 1. So 2 minus 1 plus k. K is what? 2 into 2, 4 minus 3 into minus 1 is minus 3. So 4 minus minus 3. Now this 3 minus minus plus 3 plus 2 is 5. 5i minus 2 minus 1 is 1. So minus j plus 4 minus minus plus 4 plus 3 7. 7k. In this way you solve A cross B. Just you remember these things that I, here you take I, then minus j, then plus k, and you just when you write I here, just corresponding to this column and row, you cancel each other. What is left, you just write down. Similarly for j and k, right? Why you take minus sign here and here it is plus I and plus k? Why? I is what? J cross k, it is plus I. J is what? K cross I, na? But you are writing I cross k, that's why you take minus j. Then plus k is what? I cross j. So you write plus k. That's why here I have taken minus j. This is the formula. Okay, just remember this one is minus j. So in this way you solve A cross B. Now unit vector perpendicular to A and B. What is the formula for unit vector perpendicular to A and B? A cross B by mod of A cross B. A cross B you already find. Mod of A cross B, it means whatever you get A cross B, just take mod of this one. So under root 5 square plus minus 1 square plus 7 square. You solve this one, you get under root 75. And the unit vector becomes A cross B is 5i minus j plus 7k, and mod of A cross B is 75. So root over 75. In this way you solve questions based on this vector product, right? Hope it's clear to all of you. Please take a screenshot of this one fast. Okay, with this I am going to end the class. This video is very lengthy. These are all about vectors. Now I will make another part for relative velocity and projectile motion which is left. So wait for the second part of this chapter. Up to then students, please keep revising and stay tuned with this channel. Thank you.